All right, we are back with our third match, and this is certainly the match that I think most of the people in our studio audience here have certainly come for, and I'm sure a lot of people watching right now are certainly looking forward to as well. Of course, we have Cargo, but he's not the guy you're waiting to see. Of course, you're waiting to see OGS NaDa, also known as Yun-yeol, one of the most prolific players in StarCraft I, who has shifted over to StarCraft II. And this can be awkward sometimes. I mean, when you're shifting over from one game to the other, you obviously have high expectations of you because you're a famous player. But at the same time, you're going to have some advantages because the games are similar. But at the same time, they are different games.
They are, and you're absolutely right. I'm sure NaDa's feeling a little bit of the pressure. No matter how experienced he is, he's going up a guy that's 10 years younger than him, and probably at almost the prime of his life, physically game-wise. NaDa's probably feeling it a little bit.
All right, well, let's go and meet the two players. Here is our player, Cargo, also known as Cho Kyung-chun. And once again, yeah, you can tell that he's a lot younger. 17 years of age. And, well, the baby fat's gone. But actually, you know what? He doesn't look so nervous. He looks like he's about to go up the hill in a roller coaster ride, I think. But, yeah, taking it pretty good, we'll say. He likes Metalopolis. That is not a map that we are going to be playing on. This is a Terran versus Terran matchup. And we'll see how he does. As for his opponent, no introduction necessary. It is indeed OGS NaDa, also known as Yun-yeol. He also goes by NaDa, of course, in StarCraft I. This actually made headlines when he decided to leave his StarCraft I team and make the jump over to StarCraft II. And certainly, you can look at this two ways. You can say that he's kind of left StarCraft I behind, so to say, left his fans, and some people are kind of regretful of that. On the other hand, you could say that he's getting an early jump on StarCraft II compared to the imminent move over from the other StarCraft players that will eventually come to StarCraft II. He might have an advantage since he's doing this ahead of them. Absolutely.
It's all but, like you said, imminent that StarCraft I is going down, StarCraft II is taking its place. NaDa's making the wise choice for the future, monetarily and fan base. Get in it early.
Well, we'll have to see if he is indeed as good in StarCraft II as he was, or I should say still is, in StarCraft I. You don't just lose that overnight. I think he's going to hang on to those skills for quite some time, and we'll have to see how much of that is going to aid him in StarCraft II. And interestingly enough, he is using the same race. He's hanging on to Terran, as I think most players have done for the most part as they've shifted over from StarCraft I. They've kept the same race that they've been most comfortable with in StarCraft II. So we're going to see how he does. We are about set to go to set number 1, which is going to be on Lost Temple. Let's go take a look at the maps for all 3 maps, actually. Set number 1 is Lost Temple, as mentioned. And set number 2 is Xel'Naga Caverns. And set number 3 is going to be Delta Quadrant. Maps that the players did not want: Jungle Basin, Blistering Sands from Cargo, Blistering Sands, and Shakura's Plateau from NaDa. And both of the players did not want to use Blistering Sands. I guess that is I mean, in one sense, you could say that it is a it's a map that doesn't favor Terran, but at the same time, you could say, well, it's a mirror matchup anyway, so who cares?
I guess that's their comfort zone, really. But what I think is fitting is we see an old-school gamer like NaDa playing on an old-school map like Lost Temple in the first round of the match. So I'm wiggly and jiggly here waiting to see this game start.
Okay, well, let's start it.
자, 경기 시작됐습니다. 자, 카고라는 아이디를 가지고 있는 조경준 선수와 그리고 아이디만으로도 엄청난 포스를 풍기는 나다 이윤열 선수의 진영이 이제 있습니다. 자, 먼저 보이고 있는 진영.
Okay, so Cargo is going to be our red Terran, who you see here at 9 o'clock.
Cargo.
Cargo. Kako. Little round of applause for him. And over at 3 o'clock, Blue Terran is NaDa.
NaDa.
A few more
Expected.
fans cheering him on, I think.
Expected.
All right, NaDa is the Blue Terran. We are on Lost Temple. And if you're going to talk about being familiar with this map, I mean, you're talking about a person that has probably played on this map for about 10, 12 years now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure it's the most comfortable map for me coming from StarCraft I as well. I'm sure it's probably close to the same for NaDa. And it's good that a lot of the strategy and gameplay really transfers over from StarCraft I to StarCraft II.
Let's talk about the map for a second. How similar is Lost Temple from StarCraft I to StarCraft II? I'm sure there are some differences. How many?
They did. Of course, Lost Temple had a ridiculous number of versions, but one of the big things was people complained every day about 12 versus 3 imbalance. You could use the 3 o'clock ledge to tank the 12 o'clock, or you were at a disadvantage with your 6 o'clock command center because of mining. But in StarCraft II, I give them credit. They listened, they took the feedback well, and they took away the bad things, but left a lot of the classic Lost Temple in there. And I think that's why I like it, and a number of my player friends also like it.
Now you're saying player friends, not playa friends, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
just making sure, you know.
Actually, I should probably shout them out, right? I'm a big fan of all these EG nerds out there, and of course Artosis and Nick, everyone knows as well.
Of course, just in case people are wondering, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, hey, that doesn't sound like Artosis and Tasteless, or what is it? Is it Tastosis, or...
Oh, that's their combo name, right?
The Tastehosis, like Benifer, right? Yeah, actually, they are over at BlizzCon, and they will be back on Monday. So I will be here at least till tomorrow, filling in for the time being. And hopefully you can enjoy our broadcast as well. Cargo is, once again, the Red Terran here. Ghost Academy. Okay, so then let's talk about standard things that we'll see in a TvT. We talked about that in our earlier match when we saw MVP against Sound.
Oh, wow.
One of the things we didn't talk about was a ghost.
Yeah, we did not see a ghost rush, that's for sure.
Is that something that's very common in StarCraft II?
You know, I don't think I've seen it. I've tried this out in the beta, and I thought it had almost no potential. So I'm going to be very curious to see what happens here.
Okay, so a ghost on the way, very, very early for Cargo. Let's see if NaDa is ready for this, and how.
To be honest, I thought if there was going to be a strange and exciting play I thought it was going to come from NaDa's side. It looks like he's opting for a pretty standard Marine tank command center opening here.
So the ghost is on the way, and this should be interesting. Let's talk about, okay, what are the advantages with doing a ghost rush? What does he want to achieve with this?
Well, it looks like he's going to just climb into the mineral line here and probably pick off a mule and then get whatever he can, dance around, waste some scans. I'm actually curious myself. I'm sure that's all he can do for the moment with that ghost. He only made one of them.
And NaDa just spent a scan scanning Cargo's base. The question is, did he know that a ghost is... Oh, boy, he did just scan his own base right now, knowing that it was coming. Now the question is, how is he going to deal with this? 2 kills already for the ghost. There's a third one right there. A fourth.
Thankfully, NaDa, being the great player he is, lifting off his factory there, swapping it up, getting a Raven as fast as possible, needs that detection. This ghost is doing ridiculous damage, though, on the 8th kill now.
Wow, and they can see these Marines just standing right next to it, waiting for that scan to charge. And there it goes. And there he goes.
Wow.
Did you get a kill count on that in the end? It looked like about 10 or 11.
I think it hit 10.
Double-digit kills for the Ghost.
I'm sure NaDa's face is pretty red with anger now. I know mine is a little bit, and I'm not even playing. That Ghost was so good.
Now the question is, where do you go from there after doing the Ghost tech? Are there advantages that you can use from that initial tech for a plan B?
Well, I think doing that much damage, there are a lot of advantages, but what I'm seeing is we're going to have a follow-up drop ship here. We got Marauders and Marines about to be loaded up any second, I'm guessing.
He looks like he should be ready to go, and indeed, Cargo is loading up the cargo in his medevac and should be ready to go to make a play here on NaDa, who, by the way, has expanded.
Yeah.
Raven
there we
is
go,
out.
finally.
So that'll thwart that idea for the time being. Vikings on the way as well. Let's take a look over at Cargo's base. Nothing new since. More Ghosts on the way.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen a command center from Cargo yet. He really did a lot of damage there. I think he's following up with a few too many units.
Scan taking place in the main. And here we go.
NaDa sees it in time, though.
Trying to get a few more kills, and he's going to try to get away. Raven takes out the medevac, and I don't know how much damage he did there.
Yeah,
not as effective as the early Ghost Rush, certainly.
Definitely not. He might be letting NaDa get back into the game doing moves like that.
And once again, the key, I haven't seen him even working on a second command center yet.
He's not, and his unit count is relatively low. I think I didn't get a good look at his SCV count early, but he must have stalled something in order to not be crushing economy-wise here, or army-wise.
You know, I think actually NaDa's ahead in food count, which would be, well, I guess the key is he's got the extra expansion up, but after losing 10 SCVs, he should have been slowed down much more than he is right now. NaDa going for a macro game.
You know, even though he lost those 10 SCVs earlier, looking at the unit count, he's already ahead. Let's see, 7 or 6 SCVs already, so this is the magic of NaDa right here, I think. You know, I look at him, it looks like he's losing. Next thing I know, he's about to raffle stomp his opponent here.
And the attack is on Vikings. Take a peek in and then retreat. That, at the very least, takes the SCVs off the mineral patch for a few seconds there, slowing down Cargo and his mining ability. At the very least, also got a good peek as to what is going on in the base of Cargo.
Oh, we got 2 dropships being loaded up here. Not a good idea, knowing that NaDa's pumping out Vikings here. It's going to have an unfortunate accident any moment, I'm anticipating.
Oh, and the medevac coming very close to that pack of Vikings.
Oh, dangerously close there.
Wow. You talk about one bad mistake. And here comes the drop. Let's see.
He spotted that second one.
And here is the drop.
Oh.
Nope. Retreats in time.
Well, NaDa pulled his SCVs anyway.
And finally, Cargo is able to expand. I think that was a good 3 or 4 minutes after NaDa expanded. So he's going to be way behind in his count.
Absolutely. I think it was even longer than that, tragically.
We're talking a 30 difference in food count right now. That is a ridiculous difference considering how much damage he did with that Ghost Rush early.
Exactly.
Although the one thing we can say is we learned a new good beginning for a TvT. certainly a pretty effective opening. The question is if you have a follow-up with that.
Right, if you have the right follow-up. And if it was me, like I said, I'm an expansion user. I would have had that ghost, when my ghost is walk into his base, I'd be making the command center.
And look at this. Oh, you can't go there with those siege tanks set up. Being chased back. Marines trying to get some hits on those Vikings to slow them down a bit. Positioning and territorial play so important when you have siege tanks, and right now both with a tower each.
And I think NaDa's playing a little extra safe here. That, or he just wants to make his presence known here in game one and say, hey, sup, I'm NaDa. I'm about to roll you with 200-200.
And by the way, NaDa already with a third command center just down towards the 5 o'clock area. You know, I'd almost say that NaDa's playing this like a StarCraft I game in terms of the game taking a little bit longer, making sure that he's got everything perfect.
As you say that, here he comes, though.
And he's probably going to have more than enough, by the way.
Yeah, it's yeah, that was not much you could do, though. It's Cargo. So far behind.
Plenty behind. We're talking about double unit count almost. 140 compared to 70 in food count right now. And NaDa is about to roll in. I don't think so, says NaDa.
Yeah, I'll give Cargo credit, though. He's not tapping out. I think he should be, but
I just don't think he has any answers. He had one good idea at the start there, but he really hasn't had other ideas as to what to do since then. I mean, once again, he is playing a pretty formidable player.
I think that's a key factor, too.
Maybe the nerves getting a little bit of the best of him, a little bit intimidated. And is this going to be it? Is this going to be it? Is this? You've got to think it's going to be GG soon.
Find the enter key. Click the G. Click the G.
Just not a lot left. Tanks all in siege mood. There it is. Wow. GG as NaDa takes set number 1 on Lost Temple. Very comfortable match for him. A good map for him. And ho-hum, just another game.
Just another day at the office.
Hey, good effort by Cargo. You know, I got to give Cargo some credit. Came up with an interesting beginning. His build order opening at the start, but in the end, his mid-game just a little bit too slow, perhaps either too passive or not looking to expand enough. He really got caught in no man's land as to what he wanted to do, and you really can't make mistakes like that against NaDa. You get a lead, you got to find ways to hang on to that rather than allowing a guy like NaDa to get back into this.
That he did, and I'm still kind of shocked there. That opening was amazing. He killed so many SCVs. Not sure what's going on, actually. I kind of want to watch the replay. I wish we had time. I could go review that, get the ESPN Sports Cam out here, highlight what happened.
Well, perhaps we'll take a look at it when we get home. Another look and go, wow, that was pretty impressive. But certainly something that hopefully we see more plays like that. And like you said, it was surprising that we didn't see NaDa pull a play like that, being the way he is. But maybe the fact that he is up a set now, maybe he'll start something a little more interesting in set number 2. And speaking of which, let's go to set number 2 now.